Restaurant Unstoppable. Inspire, empower, and transform the industry.
You were the president of El Arroyo.
Yeah.
We haven't started talking about El Arroyo yet, but is there anything that's worth talking about as far as the things you've done, the lessons you've learned the hard way, things you can share up to before, or I should say before 2012 when you took over El Arroyo?
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. I think the hardest lessons were about getting so if I had to do it all over again, I would dive way deeper into accounting and operate accounting at a level that was way beyond where we were at the time, right? So there's different levels of what you need, right, based on how big your company is and everything. There's some best practices that it's expensive to use. So the best advisors are expensive, but they pay for themselves.
Yeah.
Right. So a good accountant and a good attorney will, and it doesn't in good expensive doesn't mean good, right? Expensive means they have the personality traits that you're looking for, right?
Yeah.
And they're competent and they're thoughtful and generally empathetic type of humans, right? That are going to help guide you to learning the best way to do things. And so, especially when you're young and getting started. And so I think that using good advisors and committing the resources to it is one of the best lessons. And it's a lesson that even one of my friends who started a company, became a very big company, started and sold a few very big companies, was telling me about his first CFO that he hired and how he was making more money than him, and how hard of a decision that was, and how one of his own mentors pushed him to do that.
But sometimes you got to step back to move forward, right? And the thing in the financial, when it's all about fiscal responsibility, when you have somebody to focus on fiscal responsibility and that's their sole job, guess what? You're going to start making more money, right? Like that's how it's going to work.
If they're doing a good job for you, yeah.
Right? And that's the idea, is like you got to give before you get. You got to step back before you can step forward.
Well, that's a great way to put it. You got to give before you get.
Yeah, for sure. So I'm curious to pull back a few layers on this idea of fiscal responsibility, and that's what you would have put more energy into as accounting. What were the changes? Get specific. Like, where were you? And then what was the thing that you started to do that was a big difference, aside from outsourcing?
Well, so we were doing like annual financials and stuff like that. I mean, financials should be prepared every single month by the 10th of the month, and they should be right.
Yeah. I literally just recorded a Costing and Profit 101 course with Rudy Mick, who's somebody I really look up to. He's been a repeat guest in the show, and this is the stuff we get into. But he does weekly costing and daily like inventory, and like the system is like bulletproof. But it's huge. It's so important. Why is that so important? That level of at least monthly.
Well, it's back to you can't manage what you can't measure, and if you're not paying attention to it, you're going to have a set of assumptions that are not right. They might be a little bit wrong. They might be a lot wrong. You just don't know. And when people don't know, they start to make decisions out of fear, principally, or out of assumption, or out of whatever assumptions they have. And those choices are never going to be as good as well-informed decisions.
Yep.
And business is about making a plan, executing that plan, and then iterating that plan, and then doing it again, right? And so,
but it's the game of business is what you're describing right now, right? But how do you play the game if you aren't keeping score?
Right.
And when you start tracking all the numbers, you start to be able to keep score. And then when you can keep score, it becomes a lot more fun, and it becomes a challenge. You can do better than yourself than the month before, the week before.
And it's an organization with once it's a business and not a job, you have other contributors that need to be recognized and need to be incentivized. And you can't, if you don't even know what they're delivering, how can you do that?
Yeah, I love that.